Evening everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be my third video in a week, which is the most I've ever done. So really appreciate it if you could subscribe, ring the bell, like, comment, get those numbers up. I'm going to be going for it a bit more this year, hopefully have a bit more time to do videos, a lot more videos like this. So here we are, welcome. And I know what you're thinking. Why is he doing a comparison versus video between this, which is the Laney Lion battery powered amp? Some people say this is just a toy beginner's amp, whatever. I think it's brilliant. And this, which is, Marshall's smallest, lowest powered all valve amp, the Marshall DSL1. And the reason I want to do the comparison video is I love both of these amplifiers. I'm not going to get rid of them. They've both got their own purposes, which they're both perfect at. So I've actually done an in-depth review of both of these amplifiers on the channel. So I'll leave you a link above, and I'll put a link in the description of both of those in-depth reviews. So anyway, starting with the Laney. So the great thing about this is, because it's battery powered, it is so light and portable. You've got your carry handle in the back. It's not just battery powered. You can sort of power it by AC power. But what I also love about it is it's got Bluetooth, so you can sort of practice along to YouTube videos wirelessly. It's got 2 channels, so it's got a clean and an overdrive channel. It's got a gain, a level, so you can sort of balance the gain and the level for your overdrive. It's only got the single tone control, and it's actually got quite a nice sounding sort of tape style analog delay as well, which is really nice feature to have, especially at this price and the overall volume. But what else is quite interesting about this amp, which I've covered in the video for it, is you can connect up to sort of guitar software like Guitar Lab, so you can sort of use a TWRS lead, plug it in from your iPad, which has got your guitar software running, and just basically use that to sort of monitor the guitar sound. So that's great. Plus also it's just a cool thing to have around the house, as a just as a Bluetooth speaker for playing music through. And this is two 3-inch speakers operating in stereo, and it just looks great. Look at that. It just looks like one of those much more expensive Laney Lionheart amps. But it is plastic, but it's got the real sort of grill cloth on there. It looks classic. It looks great. I love this amp. Anyway, that's the Laney. You can tell how much I love that amp. The downside of the Laney, of course, is it's got a nice overdriven tone. Sorry, it's got a nice clean tone, but the overdriven tones, the amp's just not powerful enough to deal with, massive levels of overdrive. But you'll see later on in this video, I'll do a tone comparison. So anyway, yeah. So I was quite happy with the Laney for a while. I've been playing for years. I'm not a beginner, but I just wanted something for in the house, something to actually take into the shed. Really, when I started doing these videos, I wanted something portable that I could take into the shed, and so I could actually do videos without having to plug in. So that's where the Laney came in. Anyway, the Laney retails at about £60–70 as well. So it's a really good price. That, I mean, it's as a Christmas present, birthday present for somebody. What a bargain. Anyway, I love that amplifier. Anyway, so moving on to the Marshall. I mean, this is the real deal, really. I mean, look at the size difference. But really, I mean, this Marshall has only got an 8-inch speaker in it. That's compared to 2 3-inch speakers of the Laney. So you only gaining a couple of inches, of speaker diameter. But obviously, it is a much better quality speaker. It's a Celestian. Anyway, yeah. So all valve amplifier. And this has got, all the sort of features that you want to, start exploring you know, proper guitar tones. It's got an effects loop, so you know you can run in any pedal that you want. You know, the plan is I want to sort of start collecting separate pedals, work on tone, you know, a lot more than I have been, rather than using multi effects and things like that. So you can do this with the effects loop, which is something that you can't really do with the Laney. It's got the low power mode, so it's a 1 watt amp, but it goes down to 0.1 watts, which is still far too loud for in the house, and louder than the Laney on maximum. Yeah, so it's got 2 channels, and basically it sounds like a Marshall. It looks like a Marshall. It sounds like a Marshall. It's a Marshall. It's the real thing. Whereas the Laney, you know, to some people would say it's a toy. I don't think it is a toy. I think it holds its own quite well. Yeah, so I suppose the reason I did this video was, you know, some people might be thinking, you know, why do I need to upgrade to a Valve amp, for instance? So hopefully in this video I can show you the huge difference in tone, hopefully, between the two. Maybe it's not so much on the clean, but when we start getting into overdriven tones, you'll see the massive difference. Yeah, so for practicing, for in the house, for just, you know, just convenience really, I'm never going to get rid of the Laney. It's just a great tool to have around the house for guitar playing. It's great. And as for the Marshall, well, when it comes to, you know, making up guitar sounds and getting serious, I suppose, with guitar tone, that's where the Marshall comes into it. And it is ideal for home practicing because, you know, obviously you've got that low power mode. It's not that big, you know, it's not a massive, it looks massive compared to the Laney, but this is not a big amplifier. So yeah, horses for courses. I think these 2 amplifiers fulfill their, you know, their roles perfectly. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is nothing too clever. I'm just going to get a range of tones really and compare the 2, starting with clean. So here I go. The guitar that I'm using tonight is a Fender Player Stratocaster Power Ferro board, and I'm just gonna, let's just go for it and see what you think. So starting with the Laney. So no delay, pretty flat EQ, and the gain backed right off into the clean channel. And you get something like this. There we go. Out of tune straight away, sorry. That's the neck pickup with a Strat. So, you know, I've got no complaints with that clean tone. I think it's fine for just in the house, you know, articulate. It's not thin sounding at all. There you go, anyway, just to give you an idea. So, moving over to the Marshall. Let's see if we can just dial in clean tone for you. EQ flat. I'll turn the reverb off because there was no reverb on the Laney. And this is in the 0.1 power mode. Sorry, 0.1 watt power mode. Again on the neck pickup with a Strat. Now, I don't know if you can tell very well on this. This is just, you know, my Samsung Galaxy S9 phone. No trickery, no mics, nothing like that, just the phone. But instantly, it's just a much more articulate, clearer, punchier sound for the clean. I hope that comes across. And in the room, it just sounds massive. It just sounds just organic and it just sounds brilliant, in my opinion. Then moving over to the position 5 on the Strat, which is the bridge in middle. There you go. So back over to the Laney then. I'm going to try and coax out some mildly overdriven sounds out of this now. So going over to the Laney's overdrive channel. So this is the bridge pickup of the Strat. It's a bit harsh. I'm just going to tame the tone a little bit. Knock the volume down and probably knock the gain down a little bit. I mean, to me that's okay. It's a little bit sort of middly, which you can't really dial out because you've only got the single tone control. But you know, again, for in the house and just riffing away, it's fine. Still clear. And it is quite dynamic as well, so if you can roll off on the guitar volume. So this is 10 on the bridge pickup. Backed off. Over to the neck. Okay, so I would say, you know, for the price, excuse me, for the price and for the convenience, I've got no complaints with that overdriven tone. And then moving over to the Marshall, what we'll do is we'll go to the gain channel, I think. Actually, what we'll do is, shall we? This is with the clean channel maxed. Now, I don't prefer that at all to the Laney, because what I've done here is just basically maxed out the clean channel. I've done nothing with the EQ. We're not even on the overdrive channel of the Marshall. I'm just trying to demonstrate that the Marshall can achieve, you know, a cleanish breakup as well. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. Yeah, so because the clean channel has only got the one gain control, there's nothing that can really do with that tone apart from, you know, we can tweak the EQ and that's it. We can use the tone shift. So I'll just back the treble off a bit maybe. And then up the mids, possibly back off the treble a bit more, because this is a Strat bridge pickup, which is notorious for being spiky. Now for me, I just think that's a little bit sort of fuzzy in the high register, and I think at this point the Laney is sort of winning. But yeah, we haven't even moved onto the overdrive channel yet. The Marshall is more flexible, so you know I haven't really messed about with it that much. But this is just to give you an idea of, you know, the instant sounds that come out between the two when you're just comparing them. You know, given, you know, 5-10 minutes to spare in the house at night. So anyway, let's move over to the overdrive channel and just back the gain right off and give it some beans. Okay, goes. So that's what you would expect from a valve amp, you know, all that body in there. And the articulation as well. Let's just back the gain off a little bit, because it has got quite a range, the OD channel on this. Neck pickup. So there you go, interesting. So, you know, I thought the Marshall was going to absolutely wipe the floor with the Laney for, you know, like mildly overdriven tones, and it probably will, but not here, not now. There you go. So, food for thought. So moving on, I'm going to now max out the gain on the Laney. As you can probably tell now, it's starting to sound really, really, really boxy. Trying my best to sorry about that. Yeah, so anyway, it's just spiky. I'm going to back off the tone. Now it's muddy, bit more tone. Bit more tone. So I hope I've demonstrated there the sort of the feelings of the Laney. The more drive you add to it, the worse it sounds. So, you know, to get the best sounds out of this little amp on high gain, I find if you you can smooth it out a little bit by chucking some delay on there. So that's with the delay maxed. Which is alright. Yeah, but remember that's helped by a ton of delay. Right, okay, so but it's still a good sound. You know what I mean? It's not a good sound. It's a reasonable sound for the price. You know. So moving back to the Marshall, let's give it a bit more beans. Back off the tone a bit. Now, you can actually feel the difference in the room now. I mean, there's a heap more bass on there and everything just sort of hangs together better. It doesn't sound like the amplifier's fighting against you at this level of gain like it did with the Laney. And it just feels like the amplifier's sort of, it's working with you. So let's max the gain, back it off, and let's chuck a load of reverb on there. so starting to get a bit carried away now. Max gain, bass, treble boosted, treble backed off a bit. And to me, that's now sounding like, you know, it just sounds like a proper amplifier now, a proper valve amplifier, whereas the Laney did sound nowhere near as good, in my opinion. But let us know what you think in the comments. So yeah, there's a few surprises on there. So in summary, you know, for clean, the Marshall wins hands down. Although the Laney does sound nice, the surprise for me was the mildly overdriven tones, which I thought the Laney didn't handle too well, but I didn't think the Marshall handled them too well either. And then as expected with the higher gain tones, the Laney was starting to really struggle. Starting to sound really boxy and closed in, and just sounds like the speakers just can't handle that amount of gain. Yeah, it's got the delay to smooth it out a bit, but it just, to me, it just sounded a bit harsh in the room. And I think that's where the Marshall comes into it. It's got that Marshall gain that you can just control, and it's predictable, and it sounds huge. So I hope that hasn't put anybody off getting the Marshall. I hope it's steered some people that are just starting off or want a little amp in the house towards the Laney. I might put an affiliate link on for both of these actually in the description, so you can help out with the channel. But yeah, I'm still not getting rid of either of these amps, because that sounds like a Marshall, and that is very convenient and has some great sounds in it for £60–70. That's £250. I think you get what you pay for. I just think that the mildly overdriven tones just need a little bit of tweaking maybe. I mean, I am using a Stratocaster, you know, so with a Les Paul, probably a different story. And I haven't really mucked about that much with the settings. I've just basically been on the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. I haven't really, this is just an on the fly video really. Anyway, so hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.